Legendary warriors, the powers that created us now want us all extinguished. We must join forces, or else forever be their slaves. For today, in the name of freedom, we take the battle to them. Let's roll.
Greetings and salutations. Good morning. God bless you and yours. It's yours truly, Dan Adams, a.k.a. Master of Ceremonies of this show, The Dan Adams Show, coming to you live and direct once again from the politicalheat.com remote studios, a.k.a. The Vehicle. And it is Thirsty Thursday, Throwback Thursday, Thoughtful Thursday, whatever Thursday that you want to hashtag it, be my guest. Now, this is not going to be a full-fledged 30-minute show today, I don't believe. It all depends on if I go on a roll and it ends up being that way. But I do want to talk about a couple of things, maybe three, all depends. But the first thing that I want to get right into, ladies and gentlemen, Fox News story that I was just looking on my Fox News app on my phone. It's about the continual findings of unmasking by Obama admin officials. And in this particular case, has to do with Ambassador Samantha Power at the time that Obama was still president and right up until Trump's inauguration. Samantha Power was busily she was busy unmasking Americans. That's right. Unmasking Americans. And from what I'm read out of the particular article, after I skimmed through it real quick, she was, as the ambassador, and she was a member of the intelligence community, she was asking for unmasking requests on a daily, ladies and gentlemen, daily basis, leading up to Trump's inauguration. Now, she's supposed to, in a closed door session with Senate committee officials, intelligence committee officials, haven't had my coffee yet, with Senate intelligence committee officials behind closed doors to speak about her unmasking requests and things of that nature. Now, obviously, nothing is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. We know this. We know there is a separate set of rules and an above the law mentality, not even in a mentality, an actual reality when it comes to individuals in government. You do something wrong, unless you did something that the IRS nailed you for. You got Menendez with this corruption trial and things like that. Those probably are the only things that you might get nailed for. And those things, yes, serious as they are, but you have individuals like Samantha Power, Susan Rice, Ben Rhodes, and many Obama admin officials. I mean, shoot, let's just go all the way back to Lois Lerner. Her ass should be in jail. And those under her who participated in the IRS scandal should be in jail. But no, she was able to plead the fifth, retire with her retirement package, and ride off into the sunset. So this is what's going to happen with Samantha Power. They're going to ask her a whole bunch of questions. She's going to lie through her freaking teeth. And the Senate Intelligence Committee is going to say, okay, thank you for coming in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. This is how government rolls. Because honestly, if any of these Senate Intelligence Committee members found their butts in hot water, they would want someone like Samantha Power and maybe people she knows in their corner. That's what I think. I may be wrong. I've been wrong on many occasions. But that is what's going to happen. They're going to lather her up with some softball-ass questions. She's going to lie through her teeth, and she'll be sent on her way. Ladies and gentlemen, the corruption, the downright deceit and betrayal, it just reeks. It reeks. And for us, normal, average American citizen out here, working paycheck to paycheck, trying to do what's right by themselves and for their families, have to deal with this above the law reality of government officials. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, maybe one day someone will be held accountable. I'm thinking no one will ever be held accountable. Because you show me, you tell me, you point me in the direction of someone who's been held accountable for anything. Not, especially when it comes to matters dealing with the federal government, how they operate, how they go above the law in regards to their activities, unmasking Americans for whatever reason. And that still butters my bread in regards to this unmasking of Americans. And I'm thinking to myself, there's already been reports when Obama was president, how he was unmasking and surveilling and wiretapping individuals who he felt was a threat to him. Of course, that would never come to light as being, factual and true, and there's evidence of it in a freaking manila folder. But ladies and gentlemen, really? For a man who was a junior effing senator, came out of nowhere in 2008 and beat the heir apparent at the time, Hillary Rodham Teflon Hillary Clinton, as I stated, and as the Reverend Jeremiah Wright and Screwy Louis Farrakhan has stated on many occasions, that he was selected and not elected, because you, as a junior senator, don't come out of nowhere and become president of the United States your first time around. Let's keep it real, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it real. But here's the situation. I'm going to end it on this and then get to my next topic. You will see nothing done in regards to Samantha Power, Susan Rice, and anyone else that the intelligence community have on their radar in regards to this unmasking fiasco. You heard it here first. It won't be the last. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and move on to another topic at hand. And it has nothing to do with politics, ladies and gentlemen. That's why this is called the Dan Adams Show and not the political heat. Just read that another female teacher having sex with her students. And in this case, she had sex with 2 students in one night. Now, I put up that one particular story of a really, really, really hot teacher from Florida. And I believe this teacher's from Florida. If I have to look at my phone here, I can't do it while I'm driving, but I believe this teacher's from Florida. And I'm thinking to myself, come on, what are they putting in the water in Florida that are causing these female teachers, ladies and gentlemen, not male, female teachers, to have multiple sexual encounters with their students? And I put up this story, and I tell you what, it was a stark contrast between the men posting and the women posting. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it very sternly and as a matter of fact. Yeah, I am a man, ladies and gentlemen. I was a boy back when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, horny as hell. And if a hot-ass teacher, and I'm, as of right now, being 44 years old and living life and going through things, married, kids, the whole nine, of course I wouldn't do anything like that now. But as a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old boy, horny as hell, peer pressure to get laid, and your hot-ass teacher, wants to have sex with you, what are you going to do, ladies and gentlemen? Let me rephrase that. What would you do, knowing how you thought and your mentality was at that time, at 14, 15, 16, and 17? Hormones raging like a mofo. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying that you should have. And this woman and all these women, they're sexual predators, ladies and gentlemen. Sexual predators preying on these young men, and in some cases women too, knowing that their authority is being held over these individuals, and knowing that if an act occurs, they're going to throw that authority in their face and say, you better not tell anybody, or I'm going to fail you, or I'm going to make your life miserable. So, like I said, it was a story I saw on Fox News. I figured I'd throw it out there and let you think about it. Let that marinate, as I say. So we move on to female teachers having sex with multiple students. 2, ladies and gentlemen. And I have to talk about this, but I'm thinking to myself, because I made a little post on social media yesterday in regards to this. Penguins preseason hockey. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to talk about this real quick and end with another story that just popped in my head. But I'm thinking to myself, it's preseason Penguins hockey. I'm still hung over and in La La Land in regards to the Pens repeating as Stanley Cup champions this past season. And they're already playing preseason hockey. It's freaking September. All I know is we may have a chance to three-peat. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, saying it right here. You heard it first on the Dan Adams Show. I feel within my heart of hearts, and if everyone stays healthy and maintains that health into the playoffs, I think that the Pittsburgh Penguins will three-peat. Mark it, stamp it, put it on your calendar. Now, this is the Dan Adams Show of yours truly, Dan Adams, a.k.a. the soulful conservative, the DA, and the prosecutor. You can hit me up on social media at Dan Adams Show, at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gab. The website, thepoliticalheat.com, all one word, thepoliticalheat.com. Still looking for writers and bloggers. And snail mail. No, snail email. My email address, straight up, danadams73@gmail.com. But let's go ahead and end this particular broadcast with this, ladies and gentlemen. I am in the midst of dealing with family stuff. I may have talked about it in the past, may not have gotten to any details, and I'm not really going to call out any individuals, but I am going to speak on this. Just think of this as a scenario where you have a family member who has had problems in the past, has 4 kids, ladies and gentlemen, 4 kids by 3 different fathers. Just this past month, in September, beginning of, I said middle of August, I believe. No, all of August, I think, from what I've been told in this scenario. that this mother of 4 by 3 different fathers ended up getting arrested, put in jail, and the youngest of her 4 is 5 years old. Well, a family member stepped up, took care of that 5-year-old for the month that this particular mother was in prison. Now you think to yourself, if you were in that scenario as a mother and you got out and you are now a so-called free individual, knowing that a family member didn't have to do it, but they did, took care of your 5-year-old for a month while you were in prison, wouldn't that warrant a visit to that family member to thank them profusely for taking care of their 5-year-old? Making sure that 5-year-old didn't end up in the system? And not even throw out the fact that this family member has been taking care of one of your children for the past 10 years. Let's not even think about that and throw that out there, but which I just did. But no, this person wants to go on social media and talk out of their ass because someone, and it wasn't the individual this person's blaming, got children's services called on them, but yet they're blaming this one said family member who didn't make the call, and this one said family member took care of your 5-year-old for 1 month while your punk ass was in prison. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you roll. I don't know how you go about your daily activities and what you do in your life. But it comes a point where when you do whatever you can to help our family, you do whatever you can that is within your realm of possibility and pragmatism. I think that's a word. But you do what you can for family. Now, I'm a type of person where, and I can't speak for this person in this scenario, but I'm the type of person where if I'm doing something for you, and you've gone out of your way to help an individual, a little gratitude would not be something that is out of bounds to be asked for. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? I don't think so. So I just wanted to throw that particular scenario out there because I guarantee you that this individual going through this is not the only one going through it. And for that, I am praying for you, your family, your loved ones, and your circle. So as I end this particular episode of the Dan Adams Show, haven't had my coffee yet, I'm going to end it like I always end it. May God continue to bless you and your families. May He keep you and your family safe. Until next time, God bless you and yours. Peace and blessings.
If tomorrow is our great getting up morning, if tomorrow we have to meet the judgment day, Heavenly Father, we want you to let our folks know that we died facing the enemy. We want them to know that we went down standing up amongst those that are fighting against our oppression. We want them to know, Heavenly Father, that we died for freedom. Amen. We ask these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
We have new information tonight on what kind of information Special Counsel Robert Mueller is looking for in his investigation of Russian interference or their efforts at interference in last year's election. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge is here tonight with that. Good evening, Catherine.
Well, thank you, Brett. A legal source confirms to Fox News that Special Counsel Robert Mueller has made a broad records request to the White House covering multiple staffers and includes actions taken by President Trump. The New York Times reports the special counsel has 13 areas of interest, including the firing of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, as well as the firing of former FBI Director James Comey. The requests reportedly include the May Oval Office meeting with Russian officials, where the president met with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. And it's alleged by the Times Mr. Trump said firing Comey relieved the pressure on him. A member of the president's legal team told Fox News, out of respect for the special counsel and his process, the White House does not comment on any specific request. I can only reaffirm that the White House is committed to cooperating fully with Special Counsel Mueller. In a separate development, Fox News is learning new information about the rapid pace of unmasking in the final months of the Obama White House. Two sources not authorized to speak on the record said the request from Samantha Power, former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, exceeds 260, with one request coming in the days leading up to the inauguration. The House Intelligence Committee sent subpoenas in May for the unmasking requests by former CIA Director John Brennan, former National Security Advisor Susan Rice, and Power. Records were also requested for Presidential Advisor Ben Rhodes. At a congressional hearing that same month, a senior committee Republican pressed the CIA director on the issue without mentioning Power by name.
Do you recall any U.S. ambassadors asking that names be unmasked?
I don't know. Maybe it's ringing a vague bell, but I could not answer with any confidence. On either January 19th or up till noon on January the 20th, did you make any unmasking request? I do not believe I did.
Spokesperson for Power today had no comment on the numbers or the timing of her requests, but in a previous statement emphasized to Fox that Power was acting in her capacity as a member of the National Security Council and never leaked classified information. Brett.
Catherine, thank you.
Chicago hitting a grim milestone of more than 500 homicides this year, according to the Chicago Tribune. That has forced the city to deploy 100 new police officers. But Rahm Emanuel spent Monday speaking about climate change and attacking the president, saying his unpopularity is making his job easier politically. Here to react to this is retired Chicago Police Sergeant Peter Kokonis. Good morning, Sergeant. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So what is your reaction to this when he is at a conference speaking about climate change when 500 people so far have died this year in Chicago?
And plus, we're on a rate to hit 800 carjackings, violent crimes. It's like a bait and switch. He's over there talking about climate change, which is an important issue. But in his city, people are dying. There's pools of blood. 4 people were just assassinated by an assault rifle, one of them being a pregnant young lady. There's a guerrilla warfare going on in a Latino neighborhood between 2 gangs, and he's talking about the weather.
When is he up for re-election? And what do you foresee?
2019.
So in his future, what do you think will happen? Do folks in Chicago care about this, or do they love him?
Oh, no, he's not a loved guy. He closed 50 schools in minority neighborhoods, forcing kids to walk through gang-infested neighborhoods. He's taken, he says, I put 100 more policemen on the street. As of August, 448 have retired. The figures show that 499 have applied to retire. So, I don't know what kind of math people use, but if you put 100 out and 448 leave, your districts are still stripped bare, and they're beyond the strength that they need. And the people that need them, the Inglewood neighborhoods, the Garfield Park, the Brighton Park, where all these homicides are going on, are woefully short of protection. So what do you do? And him saying that Donald Trump is less popular than him, I can't believe that.
What do you think he needs
Trump
to
maybe didn't do well in the election here, but I assure you, Emanuel's pulled out all stops trying to get reelected.
What would you advise him if he's watching this morning? What would you say to him? How would you clean up Chicago?
Well, if I'm talking to the president, Mr. President, send people here to help. Put boots on the ground here. If I'm the mayor, if I'm advising the mayor, get out. retire. Take your money and run, and let somebody that really cares about the city and the people, let him or her run this city. You can't just scream about climate when you got bodies being, and this isn't just something that just happened. This has been 5 years into his career. Mm-hmm. He's always blaming somebody. Woman embezzles $200 and some $1,000 from or $20 million from the school system. His hand-picked person.
Mm-hmm. Sergeant Kokonis.
You know, his pick of people in departments is horrible. It's just not working.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your opinion. Thank you for serving. We appreciate it.
A lot of people haven't heard yet from their loved ones in Puerto Rico. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's hard, you know. I have uncles and aunts over there that live in the poor sections, their house in the mountains.
She's in Massachusetts, unable to reach them by phone after Hurricane Maria hammered the U.S. territory. Power is out on the entire island. Homes and buildings were damaged. There's flooding. Maria has regained strength back to a Category 3 hurricane, but it's moving away from land.
It's going to skim the Dominican Republic, and then we think east of the Turks and Caicos, east of the Bahamas, and our fingers are crossed because we think it's going to remain off the East Coast.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean, it's up to at least 245 people dead in Tuesday's Mexican earthquake. 3 survivors were pulled out of the rubble of an office building last night as rescuers keep digging down, trying to free a girl found alive in a collapsed school.
Thousands of official search and rescue workers and the thousands upon thousands of ordinary Mexican civilians who are doing their best to help in what President Peña Nieto says is an urgent operation. He says the focus remains and will remain for the moment on finding those who may have survived.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Mexico City. There's a new financial hack and an update on the Equifax attack. Fox's Ginny Casola has details live.
Dave, the information system used by the Securities and Exchange Commission was hacked last year. The SEC discovered in August the hackers were even able to trade on confidential information posted by companies. And we're learning that Equifax hacking was apparently going on for months before it was detected. The Wall Street Journal says cyber criminals were in the site last March. Equifax discovered the hacking in July. The personal information of 143 million Americans was exposed. Dave?
Jenny, an Oklahoma City police officer remains on leave after the deadly shooting Tuesday night of a man approaching with a metal pipe. He didn't respond to orders to drop it. Turns out he was deaf. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Council.
A week after Irma devastated Florida, thousands are still out of power, and there's still a lot of hurricane cleanup to do, especially in the hard-hit Keys. And that sweltering nursing home where residents died has had its license suspended.
Florida's governor blames it for the deaths of 9 patients, and now the Hollywood Hills nursing home, which had its air conditioning knocked out by Hurricane Irma, has had its license suspended. The state health agency saying residents did not receive timely medical care because its medical professionals overwhelmingly delayed calling 911. The agency also alleging the nursing home staff made errors recording patient details. In one case, a resident was supposedly recorded as resting in bed after that person had died. A day before the state ordered, the facility filed a lawsuit against Florida, trying to block 2 previous orders to shut the home down, also arguing it followed an emergency plan approved by 2 state health agencies. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
A police shooting last night in Huntsville, Alabama. Officers responded to reports of gunfire. When they encountered a man with a gun, they shot and killed him, and then after that they found another man dead of gunshot wounds, and a third man had been injured. A former Illinois cop, infamous over the disappearance of his 4th wife, we'll learn today if he can get a new trial in the death of wife number 3.
The Illinois Supreme Court will announce its decision in Drew Peterson's appeal. The one-time Bolingbrook, Illinois police officer claims that hearsay evidence was used to convict him unconstitutionally for the murder of his 3rd wife, Kathleen Savio. Peterson is serving 38 years for that murder and another 40 years for trying to have the prosecutor who put him behind bars killed. There is also still no sign of Stacy Peterson, Drew Peterson's 4th wife, whose disappearance 10 years ago led to reopening the investigation into his 3rd wife's death. Jack Callahan, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures down slightly. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.